Thanks for watching. My name's Chippy. umcportal.com is the website, and on this video I'm going to unbox the HP Stream 8, a Windows tablet that I never thought I would buy because it's only got 1 gig of RAM. 1 gig of RAM on Windows 8 is a nightmare. On the desktop it's absolutely hopeless. You'll run a couple of apps, you're running to extreme performance problems with swap disk. The reason I bought this one though is because there is free 3G data on this one included, and the price is fantastic. 177 euros I paid for this, and it's a 3G 8-inch Windows 8 tablet with 32 gigs of SSD, 1 gig of RAM as I mentioned, and monthly 200 megabytes of free data. The package, I think it's Fog Mobile that are running that out of Sweden. I think is the sort of third tier operator that's doing that. Now, with that data, you can actually add either ad hoc up to 12, or is it 19 or 20 gigabytes, down to 1 gigabyte. You can also subscribe for a monthly 1 gig for about 10 euros, I think it is. A 20 gig one off is 99 euros, but this is not just a local country 3G. This is roaming. This is roaming in a number of European countries, and from the 2nd of February 2015, also in the USA. So for someone that's traveling, like me, that's someone that goes to exhibitions, I'm in Barcelona in March, I'm going to Holland in May, I'm hopefully going to be in the USA in September, UK I'm traveling to often, and quite a number of countries potentially, and this could be my hotspot. This is going to save me money just on the hotspot feature alone. But it also is capable of running Metro modern apps quite nicely within 1 gig. If you consider this to be like a Windows RT device, RT Plus let's say, without the desktop, ignore the desktop, maybe use it once in a while, in emergencies maybe, this is actually quite a nice deal. And that 3G capability, you're not going to find on a Windows tablet for that price. There is a 1 gig, 16 gig RAM Windows 8 tablet in the UK that's about £80 or something ridiculous. I'm not too sure. That's on the Amazon Marketplace. I'm not too sure about that, and I don't actually like the 16 gig SSD versions either. There is a WinTab 800W in Germany for about the same price as this, but if you're going to a known brand, let's say a tier 1 brand, you've got to go to about 230 euros for the Dell Venue 8 Pro with 3G. I think LTE. This is only an HSDPA plus module inside here, so UMTS 3G plus. All right, let's unbox this because we need to know how good the 3G is, what's inside, whether they've got that little adapter cable. Battery life, battery capacity is 14.5 watt hours, which is not huge. It's obviously a quite cheap component, the battery component in there. The best of them come up to 22 watt hour batteries in the Windows 8 tablets. For example, this is a 3G enabled Windows 8 tablet with HDMI output. This one has no HDMI. The Acer W4, if you can find it, 300 plus euros, and this has got 2 gigs of RAM in it, and I believe that does LTE as well. So anyway, let's get this unboxed. We'll go over the device, and I'll be writing up the review of this on UMC Portal, and probably first impressions within a couple of days of this video going up. So let's have a look. Okay, so this is the HP Stream 8 with DataPass 3G module inside this one. Reasonable packaging. This is a 1 gig model, as I mentioned, with 32 gigs of SSD, and here's the actual tablet itself. I'm just going to put that to one side a second. I'm hoping to see the USB adapter cable in here, which will allow you to run normal USB accessories on it, and it doesn't look like it's in there. There's the normal adapter cable for the power, and there's the micro SIM adapter there, and the HP, yeah, I guess that's the number, the puck number for the card there. There's the power supply. Let's take this out of the way, and here we have just a normal card. So that's what you get inside. You also get Office 365 with a bit of luck. It doesn't actually say here that Office is there's no Office license that I can see. Hopefully that's sort of built in now to the... You used to get an Office license. Oh, you can actually take the back off this? Okay. Let's have a look. It'll be interesting to see if there's a replaceable battery inside here. But anyway, let's just... yes, you can. You can take the back off this. Let's just have a look at the tablet itself then. I'll take you around the device and show you some of the ports on that. Okay, let's open this up. So this is not the lightest of 8-inch Windows tablets. It's coming in at over 400 grams, which is a little bit more heavy than most of them, to be honest. And especially as this one's only got a 14.5 watt-hour battery in it. For that weight, you'd expect a little bit of bigger battery, but obviously there's a 3G module inside here. It's fairly thick. It's about as thick as the Acer W4, which I've had for a while, but it's slightly shorter there, and yes, it's actually slightly thinner as well. So this is a smaller 8-inch tablet. In fact, looks like one of the, in terms of the dimensions around the device, looks like one of the smallest bezels I've seen on a Windows 8 tablet recently. Let's just go around the device. Got nothing on the left hand side here, but on the top you've got headset and micro USB. It charges through micro USB. On this side you've got power, volume, and then on the bottom, stereo speakers. So stereo speakers on the output there. Now where's the SIM card slot? Now in the instructions it says take the back off, so let's take the back off. Oh, well, removable battery, almost. I don't know if you can get hold of those batteries. No, it's a little bit taped in there. But you've got here micro SD card slot, and there's the SIM card slot there for the 3G. So everything is there, and that SIM card slot is quite nice. Drop a 64 or 128 gigs in there, and you can seal that in quite nicely. It wouldn't be easy for anyone to just pick that up and take the card out without you knowing. So let's switch Windows on and have a look around the specs. So we're just coming to the end of the install here, the preparation for Windows 8 with a Microsoft Conto. That's taken about 10 minutes up to now, I guess. Let me just take the time to mention that this is a proper glass screen here. The last one I had a plastic covering on it which scratched very easily. I'm not saying this isn't going to scratch, but glass is obviously better than plastic when it comes to scratch resistance. I like the materials as well. The plastic feels quite solid, and although that's also already a little bit messed up with fingerprints there, it actually feels quite solid, and I like the fact that it's a little bit thinner than some of the other tablets I've got. Let's just check it against the Lenovo Mix 2, which is one of the smallest ones of the first ones that went out. This is just slightly wider. You can see it's slightly wider there if I hold it there, and it's about the same size from top to bottom. The Mix 2 is, well, it's not that much thinner actually. HP say 400 grams on this one, and it's certainly a little bit heavier than the Mix 2. You can feel it's a little bit heavier. It's about the same as the Acer W4 that I've got here, and also the Asus Iconia Tab 8 with a broken screen, this one, but that's about the same weight as well. But that one had a digitizer on it. But it's nice to have this slightly shorter size from top to bottom than some of the others, and certainly seems to be a bit thinner, easier to hold in the hand. Could make a good reader. The screen seems okay at the moment. Certainly as it cycles through the colours, I'm not seeing anything vastly different to what I was expecting. This is obviously not a massively sharp screen, 1280 by 800, and I can see a little bit of light bleed on the side there, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, you could see it there. If I hold that like that, you can see a little bit of light bleed on the edges there. We'll test that further in a full review. Let me just let that fully boot now, and we'll go in and test a few things on it. So there you go. That was about 12 minutes in total for the install there. I'm just looking at the black levels here. They're actually quite good. It's not too bad at all. I've seen a lot worse than that. The first thing I'm going to do though is just change those sizes. Now for those of you that are thinking of this offer in Germany and using the device in another country, you should be able to change the language. I have set this up to be English regional with English keyboard, but you should be able to change the language packs in here without any trouble. You certainly could on the older ones, and I'll check it for you as I go through the reviews. Let's go to the desktop then and see how much space we've got on the disk. We've got 19.4 of the 32 left in terms of disk space, so you've got to be pretty careful. Certainly when you're doing downloads, make sure you delete the original installation files. Try and use the disk cleanup function. If you go through to properties, you'll find this is Bereinigung, but it's actually cleanup of the disk. You can clean the disk on that. And also be careful when you download updates. I've set it just to update security updates and not to do automatic app updates as well. Now there should be a recovery partition on this, and in theory we can actually remove that recovery partition after we create a recovery disk. I'll address that in a later video or article on UMPC portal. So let's just check max screen brightness here. Oh, not too bad. That's quite a bright, well, certainly bright enough for a good experience indoors. We'll have to do some outdoor testing on that. And how about low light for a bit of nighttime reading? Oh yeah, it certainly goes dark as well. Auto brightness on the camera might be trying to compensate for that. We've got stereo speakers and the 1 gig of RAM. So if I go to Task Manager, we should see, no, we've got the 1 gig of RAM on here. So if we go Task Manager, I want to show you, if you go to the performance key and you go to memory, you'll see already, if I can get close to that, I'm just going to switch to focus that one in properly. Is that focused? Can you see there that the memory is 780 U's? That's pretty much standard for Windows 8. When you boot your device up, it comes 700 in use already. We're going to check the processes running, see how much we've got in terms of processes on the CPU. 61 processes, so not too bad there. This is doing stuff right now. This is doing indexing, it's doing probably Windows Update, all sorts of other stuff in the background. Now let's go to Device Manager, because I wanted to just check which model number of here we go, it's a 32-bit operating system on a 64-bit processor. That's because of the problems. There was a firmware issue in the UEFI of the Beta RT processors, and I don't believe that there are some that have been fixed, but only 5 touch points, 5-finger touch, and there's no digitizer layer on that as well. So let's have a look through. There's one thing I just want to check. I believe it's got GPS. So we have got a Broadcom GNSS geolocation sensor. So it's got a proper GPS inside. So it's kind of interesting for those of you who want to use this maybe in a car. Got TPM in here, which also gives you the ability to have automatic free disk encryption. So you've got free disk encryption. You can see that's shown by this indicator here, free disk encryption. And if you never use anything other than this disk encryption, you'll never have files on this device that could be exposed if you lose the device. Obviously micro SD card is another matter, but this is a nice way to keep things a little bit more secure. I was going to go to the device manager and just check the network card, and it's a Huawei mobile broadband module. So we don't know the details of that, and we don't know whether it is, I think it's HSPA is the only. Let's switch it on. We might be able to see it in the settings. We'll switch to mobile broadband on. Remember, you can put your own card in here. So I've got the DataPass card in here at the moment, and oops, just turn that on, and then we can go. I'll try and connect it. Just going to connect that now. That will connect, but you have to do a registration to get that working. But the thing I wanted to do is go here. Yeah, that's the registration page. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to just go details, and we should get, yeah, it's connected at 22 megabits a second, which is HSPA plus. So that's good. And that background noise gives me a little reminder. I want to check the audio. Let me install the audio app. Or is it already installed? It might already be installed. I think I might have to reinstall this, and let's just check the speaker volume. So of course, one of the nice things about Windows 8 and just having the desktop, as I mentioned, this sort of almost emergency mode. I'm going to my NAS now. I'm just going to play it off the NAS. And there's an HP connected music app that's the default Windows app there. Let's see what we get in terms of volume. Speakers are on that side. So in landscape mode, you can cover them up pretty easily. Portrait mode. Let's turn that up. Well, you won't be able to hear much detail on this video, but it's not fantastic. It's loud enough, I'd say, perfect for radio, FM radio, tune-in sort of stuff in the kitchen. No problems there. Hey, I just have to mention again, I really like this black level on here. It makes such a difference. It reminds me, I don't know if maybe you can see it on cheap. No, you can't. On the Dell Venue 8, that has a really nice black level. It's probably a little bit blacker than this one, but this is quite nice. And liking the colours so far. What I see so far is pretty good. Okay, let's do a Sun Spider test quickly. This is IE11 on Metro. Sun Spider version 102. So IE11 Metro is generally a little bit faster than Chrome. IE11 Metro is actually a very nice touch browser, and has a little bit of a better sandboxing situation than the desktop IE would. So if you're worried about security of IE11, this one's slightly better than the desktop version. Right, let's just zoom in on that. We've got 489.3 milliseconds there. Let's bring that in for you, which is actually pretty good, not bad at all. Now remember, that's a single threaded speed, but it actually closely relates to a lot of the stuff that goes on in the browser anyway. The other thing that's quite a good demo on these cheap Windows 8 devices is YouTube 1080p, just in the Metro IE browser again. Now Chrome still isn't as efficient as IE11 in terms of YouTube. So if you're going to watch YouTube, do it on IE11 Metro. Why am I not getting any keyboard up there? Alright, sorry. So we want 1080p. Oh, trailer, let's see what we got. Get rid of that. Transformers 4 official trailer 1080p. Let's just check what connectivity I have here. I'm connected to the local network, and we'll run that. Full screen it. And make sure it's running at 1080p. That's 480p. Push it up to 1080p. There we go. Right, take that back to the start and play, please. Oops. Okay, so that's playing now. Let's just bring that closer in so you can see it. And we'll turn up the audio. Get rid of the ads.
Bring it up! All the way!
Dad, you keep spending money on junk.
That's really quite a nice screen on there.
This stuff is what's going to put you through college. Something in this makes this
For such a cheap build, it's not bad at all. Judgment Day.
The age of the Transformers is over.
Now, am I running Task Manager on that? Yes, I was running Task Manager. So you can see the CPU utilization is pretty low during that. It goes around 20 to 30% running a 1080p YouTube. So really, really efficient. Chrome will be up at the 70-80% level. So use IE11 for your 1080p videos. Local playback of 1080p is really, really efficient. Let's see if I can show you that right now. So there's Big Butt Bunny running a 1080p from a micro SD card on device. I've got it running in Windows Media Player so that I can just drop out, show you the CPU levels as it's playing. So that was down there at the 10% mark, so very, very efficient indeed in terms of video playback 1080p. So just while that copies a file to the micro SD card, you can see that's an average of 12 megabits per second writing from an SSD drive on the USB 2 connection to the micro SD card internally. 12 megabytes a second that was. And there's a read of the same file from the micro SD card to the desktop, and that's running at 22 megabytes per second. So that's pretty quick. That's this is going to be a 2K file. Let's play that back. So play it back in Media Player. 2560 by 1440 this. Have a look at the CPU, it's just sitting there at 7, 7, 7, 12, 7, 7%, 6%. Pretty good, huh? That's under Windows Media Player. We can also play it under the Video Player. Open with Windows. The Video Player built into Windows 8. And also no problems there, and skipping, and the usage there was, well, maybe I was messing around a bit with it and that was a bit higher there. We want to do that again. Let's just do that again. Open with, I'm going to leave it running for a second because I was messing around. So yeah, that was running down there at 10% as well. It's because I was messing around that the CPU was going up, but that was running pretty low there. So in both Windows Media Player and in the Windows 8 Media Player, that 2K file, 2560 by 1440, 33 megabits per second, it's playing fine. And that's 33 megabits per second. Well, that's nearly, what's that, 4 to 5 mega bytes per second. So let's play it from the micro SD card, see if everything's okay there. Don't see that there's any problem there, as the SD card was happy to stream out at 22 megabytes a second. This 3 to 4 megabytes per second is going to be no problem. No, there's no problems there at all. So of course, one of the really nice things about Windows is that it's got very nice USB support. I've got an SSD drive here from my digital SSD, it's a 256 gig drive. and I should be able to pick off. Have I got any films on here? Video? What we got here? Yeah, got films on here. So no problem adding external drives on here. This drives this SSD certainly without any external power. No problems there. I've just plugged in my USB keyboard and mouse adapter there, so now I've got the mouse working. Let's just put that there so that you can see that that's working, and of course the keyboard is working as well. So very easy to add peripherals on this. So let's just have a look at that SD card on the back there. And how do I get that out? Is it locked in? Okay, must have to slide it back. Yep, and then we can just pop that out. I'm going to put my SIM card in, which is Telefonica 02 in Germany. Just see if that gets recognised, whether I can actually see. I'm just going to put this on autofocus. Whether I can actually see my local network, and we need to unlock my pin. And that has picked up the O2 network, so it is an unlocked 3G module here. Just looking at a 5 megapixel picture here. Not fantastic. There's not a huge amount of light down here, but might be good enough for business cards. And you've got a front camera here which should work with Skype, no problems. And we can check that by just going to Skype and wait for it to load up, and then just set the camera. So that's an introduction to the HP Stream 8 with DataPass. Now I'm also testing the HP Stream 11 X360, which also has DataPass on it, and that's actually what got me interested in DataPass on a lower cost device. This review will be ready in a couple of days on notebookcheck.net, but that is the 8-inch 1280x800 4-core 1GB RAM 32GB SSD with GPS, 5 megapixel camera, 1.2 megapixel camera, stereo speakers, and built-in disk encryption, and a 3G module that's unlocked, and 200 megs of data roaming every month, with the ability to do add-on packs on an ad hoc basis or for every month. Very nice so far. I like the screen, speakers are okay, build quality seems pretty good, and I like the way that the micro SD card is packed away inside the back there. No HDMI on this, but I think for most people that's not a problem. It will support Miracast devices, so if you've got a Miracast receiver, like the Amazon Fire TV Stick, which is going to get Miracast support for Windows 8 certification very soon, and that's probably one of the cheapest Miracast receivers you'll get on the market right now anyway. umcportal.com is where we're looking at this device. Going to do some first impressions articles. I'm going to clean this up as well, and then if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. I know this device has been out a little while. There are people who've got it in the UK and the US already. In the US it comes with LTE built in for $175 or $179, and that LTE 200 megabytes a month lasts as long as the device lasts, so you could have a potentially interesting hotspot 200 megabytes a second for many years. Hotspot is done through network you go to the GPS, sorry, the 3G, and you share it using this option here, and that is a hotspot. Good. As I said, any questions, don't hesitate to ask in the comments, and subscribe if you like the video. My videos tend to be a little bit more detailed as I unbox and really try and get to grips as quickly as I can with how the device functions. As I mentioned before, desktop 1 gig of RAM is going to be a little bit of an issue for some people. That will run out of RAM very quickly, and you'll run into performance problems with pagefile.sys swap space as it tries to swap out to disk when memory's full, and that will happen pretty quickly. But if you stay within Metro, there's a whole bunch of good Metro apps out there now, you're going to have a pretty good experience. I'm looking forward to turning this into my go-to Windows mobile device for a while at least. Certainly I'll be using it at CeBIT and Mobile World Congress, and when I go on holiday to the UK and Holland planned for in the next couple of months, I'll test it out there. 3G performance needs further testing, and as does the Wi-Fi performance as well, but so far it looks pretty good. That's it. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video.